Blog Talk Radio.
The motherfucking saga continues.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Bleh.
What's up with it, John? Man, don't change that down. This your player partner, the legendary Cocaine. And you tuned in live to Off the Cuff Radio. Better not touch that down.
Yeah, this is Cassidy, the hustler. And right now, you listening to the Guillotine. Show them the respect they deserve, man. Off the Cut Radio, man. Y'all already know how they doing it, man. I need y'all to stay tuned. They've been doing it for years, so show them the respect they deserve. And you heard it out of bars, man. Easy.
Keep it moving like this. Yo, this your boy Rampage. You're not rocking with the best. With Off the Cuff Radio. Classic. History. Fix your face to all you haters. We off the cuff, baby.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Bonnie Dollars, the Queen of Trap, representing Crenshaw, and you are now tuned in with Off the Cuff Radio. What's up? What's up, y'all? This is Miss Irresistible, giving a shout out to the live show on Friday nights, Off the Cuff Radio, and I'm live from the 704.
Yo. The 7th train by Shea Stadium, City Field tailgate felt like the Palladium. The Coliseum, Jamaica Ave, that's where we're taking them. Queens, bullied by the mall, bigger, small, we're shaking them. Queens, the borough between Brooklyn and Manhattan. The Bronx, L.I., an hour away from Staten. That New York state of mind, Nas, LP Classic, that shook ones. Mobb Deep, Prodigy, and Havoc. Akinelli, Nori hosting drink champs. Nicki Minaj, pink print, dressed in pink pants. LL and a Tribe Called Quest. 50 Cent, Consequence, Onyx, Sailor, War Mega, Large Professor, Jus Daze, Mike Geronimo, Roxanne, Shantae. Rest in peace, Fight Dog and JMJ. Chinks Drug, Stack Bundles, Peace Far Rockaway. MC Shan, Ja Rule, Pharoah Monch, Marley Marl, Russell Simmons, and the names go on. Action Bronson, the Beat Nuts, and Mr. Cheeks, Black Sheep, Craig G, Tragedy, Gaddafi, Can I Bust, and Father MC. Royal Flush, Queensboro Breach, the best MC. Woodside, Howard Beach, Flushing, and Corona. We're Haven, Far Rockaway, Glen Oaks, Astoria. Elmhurst, Ridge with Laurels in Jamaica. Forest Hill, Jackson Heights, anywhere I take you. It's gonna be full of culture and full of flavor. Cause in Queens, we feel like the whole world is our neighbor. Queens get the money, long time no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle where the guns go blast. Queens get the money, long time no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle where the guns go.
Queens get the money, long time no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle where the guns go blast.
It's the Queen of shit, #1 borough. With Queens, yeah, you know who we are.
Queens get the money, long time no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle where the guns go blast.
It's the Queen of shit, #1 borough. With Queens, yeah, you know who we are.
Just a little loving.
Yeah. What's the deal, y'all? This your man King Eric. We are now tuned in to episode 675, live and direct, Off the Cuff Radio. Show sponsored by Screwball Radio, Buddy Boy Entertainment, Da Vinci Clothing. Got my host T-Match with the facts on the line. What's happening?
What's going on, y'all? It's another tremendous Thursday on the freshest frequency on the internet that keeps you interested. It's so incredible always. It is Off the Cuff Radio. Shout out to our co-hosts of Spirit Ella the Sandman, Lady Chinchilla, and of course DJ Sincere of Dirty Basement Radio. We are ready to get it rocking. And King, we got another dope guest as we always do on our show tonight. Let everybody know who we got.
And that track right there we just played was titled Queens, man, where our guest was giving up to all the greatest MCs from Queens. And he's here with us tonight to tell us about his new EP, his journey, his story through battle rapping. Excuse me. All the pain that he been putting out in these records. So it's all welcome. Jus Daze, Off the Cuff Radio, man.
Jip.
Peace, peace, peace. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, fellas.
What's going on with you, Just? Look, he said you were shouting out Queens alone, so we know you a king in terms of how you rep and pay homage to the borough, man.
Respect, respect, dude. I mean, you have to. I mean, look at Queens. Just if you take Queens where it's at right now, present day, and you just mention
Mm-hmm.
one man's name, Nas. Just that's all you got to do. We're in businesses. We're on the radio. We're on television. We are the radio. LL Cool J, 50 Cent is the media. I mean, just Queens breeds kings, and the way that I see it is they breed some of the best lyricists in the game. Period. And what they managed to do in the borough of Queens, because Queens is the entire world. For those that are
Yes,
not in
yes.
New York, Queens is a good representation of a mini world inside of a culture that is New York hip hop.
Absolutely. And to give context to what you said, Just, for people who don't understand how big QB, Queens is, and especially Queensbridge houses. Queensbridge houses is the largest project in the world with 93 buildings and over 13,000 residents. And in terms of the Q
Facts.
borough, it is probably, well, we can't even say probably, in terms of hip hop, without question, unimitably, absolutely, and without debate, is the single greatest contributor to the culture ever in terms of what it has spawned. When you look from QB, when you look at the QB houses, when you look at Farmers, when you look at Corona, Southside Jamaica, I mean, Hollis, it is just, oh man, like you said, it, I mean,
School of
it
Hard
goes
Knocks.
everywhere.
Remember the School of Hard Knocks stickers? You're taking me all through the borough right now, and I respect and love the way you just described it. But I had to show that I do have the 7 train, on my
Yes.
arm. Queens School of Hard Knocks. Remember these stickers when they were everywhere, and you couldn't get these stickers? Like, we come from a time period that it's amazing. I talked to my niece in Australia, and they don't know what it's like to go to a record store. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it's
Mhm.
like to have slaps. They don't know what it's like to be part of the graffiti culture. And like I said, beyond all of that existing within Queens, the whole world is in Queens. You could go from neighborhood to neighborhood. You got Bangladeshi, Guyanese, Trini, Korean, Spanish, all within a couple of blocks of each other. And this is like the whole borough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everywhere you go. So to hear you describe it like that, much respect.
Yeah, and
And
I
you know
mean,
what's dope too?
yeah.
And you know what's dope too is we know with the recent record that Nas and Premier dropped, Nas actually took the time to acknowledge the writers, the graffiti writers in Queensbridge.
Woo!
Yeah.
Because we need to teach people about the culture. They don't know. For me, you know how humbling it is for me. It's like people are just hearing Just Daze for the first time. I've been around, right? I've been doing this, but people are just hearing, and to me, that's amazing that my sound is still inviting new listeners. And I'm not like taken off by that at all. I'm welcome to it. But the reason I'm welcome to it is because look at the legends. Look at 50, look at Nas, look at LL. They're showing you outside of the hip hop shit, there's just such a broader spectrum. And to be closed inside the borough that is the world, no, this is why these people reach the world. And that's how I'm thinking nowadays. I'm thinking big, where I was very closed-minded maybe before, but still open to appreciate insight and opinions, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, because when you look at it, hip hop is such a rich tapestry of innovation, creation, imagination, where we have to acknowledge the Bronx 52 years ago, August 11th, 1973, that birthed it as we know it. But QB, if anything, well, Queens in general, really took that torch and ran with it. Now, we you mentioned you mentioned Nas and all them, but we also gotta, yeah, I'm biased because he's my favorite MC of all time. Come on, man. We gotta represent Corona, man, with Cool G rap, man.
Woo! Woo! No disrespect intended, but true indeed. Yo! Yes, sir. No, listen, Cool G. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who hasn't been slightly influenced by Cool G, whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or
Absolutely.
not, just his whole syllabic patterns and just how he was thinking, like people were thinking of full sentences, right? And like people like Big Daddy Kane were putting together fire back then. Like to me, he is the smooth, like for that era, that's like the man. You know, him and Rakim. But then,
That ju-
other than that,
Mhm,
like Cool
mhm.
G, right? He's mentioned in that discussion, but he's different. He was the only person, who would put rhyme after rhyme after rhyming word, kind of like what birthed the big pun style, where he took a little bit of the previous and that, and then bottled it up into his own. But I think everybody has a little bit of Cool G in them. Even people like Redman, you hear like traces of influences. I do. I do.
I mean, when you listen
Yeah,
to Cool G,
Cool
yeah,
G Rap, man, he was definitely a pioneer, man. I remember reading something about Big Pun. He kneeled down and kissed his ring.
See, that's I didn't know that, but exactly the case in point. I mean, listen, I love what Nas and Primo are doing. There's a lot of critics, and you got to remember every bottle of wine that you crack is not supposed to be fine wine. Some of that is just a drink to pass the moment. And I think what they're doing with light years is showing you we're taking you back, but we're light years ahead of what you don't realize we're losing. We're becoming a singular nation. There's a lot of singularity coming on. We're not like unique individuals anymore. So what he did was he took it back to the time where they were kings in their prime. They're kings established now, and he's taking you through a new path of kind of seeing through the future. This album is going to age kind of like the title for Drake's Thank Me Later. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be on that trajectory where you look at it later and you're like, huh, I see what Nas was doing. He was teaching us the elements. He was teaching us and he was doing that back then, but the way he's doing it now is on some grown man shit, and it's just very inspiring for people like myself.
one thing about it, and I think this is something that just for you to be so impassioned and articulate and so versed in breaking it down. One thing about it is that if there's any complaint that we have about the album is that we didn't get it sooner. We won't get into all of
Mm,
that on the show, because obviously there are some stories behind that are that have been speculated but have not been confirmed. But when we look at it, how you make that analogy is in terms of what Nas and Primo did. That record is going to be in a time capsule rather, of timeless classics when people really let it sit and marinate in terms of the regal beats and rhymes of two kings of the culture, for people to really understand how monumental this coalescence, this collaboration, this instant classic to all of us is, hands
mm-hmm,
down.
mm-hmm. Well said, and I couldn't agree more. And I think that is exactly what it's going to be. It's a time capsule. You're going to look at it 100 years from now, because Nas and these people that we're speaking of, these are our Elvises,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
that's what people also got to realize. Like, we birth a culture, hip hop, and when I say we, I'm talking about we, because I very much define myself with the spirit of hip hop. I mean, it's what I do in my professional life, my personal, like, I don't you can't differentiate. You just can't do it. Like, if it's in you, you just can't. There's like not an on and off switch. You know how to tame it because you become a master at your craft. You become an MC, and then you become a man. So you learn how to tame yourself, as the lion does as he ages through the jungle. But with that said, it's never a moment that I don't feel connected to hip hop, in my highs, my lows, everything.
I mean, it's a way of life. Like rap, like KRS once said, rap is something you do. Hip hop is something you live.
Live.
Um, when you think about it, and what you said about how we're at a time now where the culture is becoming singular, where everybody is sound the same, we're having a lack of originality, which is what was an intrinsic link of hip hop at one time, because it was about originality. And when we look at what happened, and everybody thought the sky was falling down and everybody was just losing their shit, because they're like, oh my God, there's no songs on the top 40 for Billboard. King and me were
Right.
having a discussion, and we were like, this is called a
So,
reset.
it- but but are we gonna act like the things that moved units were Grammy worthy? Like really?
Right, right,
Like listen, I could come around and respect somebody like Cardi B. I
right.
can. And I was the first person that was not on the Cardi B. Like, just to put that into perspective and context, I was not the first person to jump on the Lil Wayne bus either. But
Hmm.
Lil Wayne, I appreciate as a goat now, and there's nothing you could tell me otherwise. I'll argue for Lil Wayne hip hop debates that turn into real like life shit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think we
Like
lost
for real.
contact for a minute, but we're gonna have all right, he's back. He's back. Okay, we're back. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? I don't think anything was worthy of
Hmm.
uh of Grammy nomination other than, lyrical shit that's not even considered. So
Right,
it's not even
right.
a discussion. It's not even that's not even the table that hip hop sits at.
Yeah, and I think we've been blessed to do this show for so many years, and we've talked to so many people about it. When we look at the metrics of it in terms of what's considered popular, we all have to say it's gotten corrupted because it's not. It does part of it doesn't seem real in terms of how some of these artists are coming in. They don't really understand the culture and are quick to dismiss legends, and then as they get in, we see more flashes in the pan than sparks that flame out and can't catch fire on nothing.
Bars.
Um, when you think about this, Just and where it is, what do you see as an artist, an impeccable one of immaculate creation at that? What do
Thank
you
you.
see as what do you see? You're very welcome. And what do you see is going on right now in terms of how artists are coming in and how they're not understanding what it means to achieve longevity in a culture that has been around for decades now?
That's a great question. And thank you for the compliment. Again, where I see things is so, I wanna bring up some hip hop references like the
Please do.
Vapors
Please
and,
do.
the Vapors and these are the breaks and Hype Nitus and all of these kind of things that fall under a stigma of what's attached to hip hop. See, I said it in a rhyme. I said everyone spits rhymes, but I said nowadays everyone rhymes, but not everyone rap. I said wait, how the fuck I said it?
It's
Oh
okay.
man,
You wrote it. You wrote it. Hey, take your time.
right.
You wrote it. We know.
I said not everybody. Basically, the point is, I said everybody raps, but not everybody rhymes, and it's cool. I love it, but
Right.
I'm not fucking with it. That's
Understood.
what I said, and that is the answer to that question definitively. But what I can say about what you said about when they enter, they're not really understanding all the elements that they bring. So what are they doing? What they're doing is they're using a template, they're using a stencil. And that
Right.
stencil
Right.
becomes repetitive to people like us and our ears because we heard people like Primo and all the producers of our age go into their sampling bags, and we were sampling classical music, and we were sampling soulful music and rock music, and we were doing all of this within the genre of hip hops. And nowadays, hip hop just sounds like very cut and paste. So
Yeah.
again, just
Yeah.
going back
Yeah.
to singularity, it is a singular, like everybody's becoming binary and everybody is sort of sounding exactly the same, dressing the same, chasing the same goal. Where we used to want to tell our story, nobody's telling a story anymore. Nobody has like, let me not say nobody. They don't have the aura. Like you could buy all the clothes, but the aura don't come with it. And
Swag can't be bought.
correct. And that being said, it's one of those things where it's sad for the culture, it's a dangerous thing for the culture, and it's compromising the music that we hear. So the direct impact of not understanding the genre that you're entering and what kind of G code or unspoken rules there are to this shit is what's destroying it. And you can't do nothing about it. but you can critique it. You don't have to like it, but the one thing you can love is that hip hop is universal now. I mean, this was something people you had to be like, yeah, I listen to hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, like at one point, like it was like almost embarrassing certain places you go. Long Island. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But there was a time period where hip hop wasn't the cool music to listen to. They thought you were a criminal or a drug dealer. All you did was, they didn't realize there was real substance and meaning behind the music and more so the culture. They didn't understand the culture, and they never will because it's being whitewashed, just like they washed the walls of 5 Points. The spirit lives on, but you can't see the wall anymore.
That's powerful
And
because when we go ahead, King, go ahead.
yeah, and because on top of that, a lot of things that used to not really be prohibited in the culture started really getting leeway. Start seeing guys getting ghost writers. They got a whole writing team writing their whole catalog for them. You start seeing dudes freestyling, they reading off the iPad. Like the game just really wrote all the rules. And we ain't even talk about street codes because I don't really care about that street stuff, but mainly the artist potentials is just what really been stripped away.
Exactly. Where are the accolades? Like everybody, there's no receipts. And let me tell you, like for me, when you battled, you had to battle on the spot and freestyle. Like it was like I'm from the era where I used to put a quarter in the meter and we played the corner store sip. You know what I mean? That's off of No Tears. And the reason that it was important for me to do a verse like that is because we don't put quarters in the meters. Nobody's on the corner, smoke 440s and reefer unless you're in the hood still, and even there, so it's been like gentrified. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same feeling. It's just not the same. And it's a shame because that is what defined us. Our uniqueness was our struggle. And I'm not saying that you got to struggle to be creative and unique, but it does add a certain texture to the cloth you're sewing when you rhyme.
One thing about it, and I think when we look at the culture in terms of how the music was birthed, for those that still may be uninitiated and orientated, rap is rhythm and poetry, RAP. And it was born out of the struggle, the ostracization, the marginalization of Black and brown people primarily. And that is where, the music came. Hip hop is a way of culture, is a way of dress, speech, and dance. It's beats, rhyme, and life. And when you're talking about what was going on with the music from, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five to the Cold Crush Brothers, I mean, later Run DMC, Public Enemy, it was all about what was going on in terms of the hood, in terms of struggles and issues that were pertinent to not only the Black community, but those who were in the inner city of all colors. It was an all-encompassing, all cultural revolution of sound that echoed far beyond the boroughs of the elements of the residents that it was, in. And I think that's what made it resonate so powerful. You as an artist, tell us about your journey from when you started and what inspired you.
There's many things that inspired me. I think being born handicapped, you sort of got to grow up quick because people, even though you're a child, will give you adult eyes. And what I mean by that is
that's powerful. That's powerful.
And you can read people's intentions. So you learn to read a room very quick. You don't know what to do with it as a kid, but you know that you're a little sharper, right? And people automatically see that you're smarter. And I'm not saying like I'm a genius or nothing like that, but I'm observing, right?
Right.
And so I would always be observing everything, but I would also have a unique positive perspective on it. Even as a kid, I was just like a positive Pete, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's primarily from my mother. We won't get into my upbringing, but shouts to mom. And
understood.
And that said, just being different, growing up in East New York, being a chubby, bow-legged baby, all different types of music in the house, everything from doo-wop to hip-hop to rock in between, 80s movie scores, things like that. And Michael Jackson and all the great performers at that time, New Edition, everything. And so I'm 43, hip-hop is 50. So that being said, how can I not grow up with it? How can it just not be? And I'm from New York, and then I grew, and then I moved right over Cyprus into Queens. And so my whole life is just, I've always been around it. Now, what made me want to do it and take it serious, like, was I knew I kind of loved what it made me feel when I wrote a good rhyme,
Mm.
and I wasn't writing too many good rhymes, but I was trying. And then that it evolved, and then I was really, really invited into battle rap because of just dissing each other at the lunch table, snapping, you know what I'm saying? Just snaps on each other every single day. And that like kind of introduced me to battle rap. I realized I could do all that. And then I realized I was pretty good at it. All my friends would bring people around to be like, yo, like you gotta hear my man. And I was 500 pounds. I walked with two crutches. Like you do count me out. Like in real life, you don't know if you wanna pull out a chair for me or if you want to hide your chain. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those kind of vibes in the room. You feel me? You feel me? So that said, like there's a unique energy of being around me. And then I realized that like, as like I got better at it, I fell in love with it more. And that's really like kind of what inspired me. Like I think what I was brought around, like, and just a way to express myself, because maybe physically I couldn't run with the kids and play softball. Maybe I couldn't, so instead of running my with my legs, I ran with my mouth. you know
I mean, and that's one thing about it. And we're all older, so we look at that time of what we came up in with the music. So we saw it from its nascent phases to its maturation, and ultimately what it has morphed into today as a worldwide cultural phenomenon that has gone outside of the United States. Um, when you're talking about the producers of the day in terms of how they were sampling, we have to look at, the producers and the DJs: Scott LaRock, Premier,
mm,
Sir Jinx, Dr. Dre,
mm,
uh, DJ Pooh, DJ Crazy Tunes, Soundwave. These
mm.
are all past and present. Um, I
Speak on it.
mean, I mean, the Bomb Squad, DJ Battle Cat.
Woo!
Uh, I
Quick.
mean, look, Cricket. Shout out to the Dago, Mitchie Slick and the Wrong Kind out there. Those who really know the underground know about Cricket and all them out there.
Yeah, DJ E
Um,
Swift and DJ Quick.
yes,
Shouts to my
yes,
man PF Clayton.
yeah,
Absurd. DJ
Yeah, Cutting
man.
Crown
got
Look,
got.
13. What up? What up?
look, DJ Woo Kid. I mean, all of them, man.
Doo
I
wop.
mean, yes, and the Bounce Squad. Yes.
Come on, baby.
um,
Come on, man. We listen without the that's why I'm saying that's why you got to understand how important the elements of hip hop are. The writing, the graffiti, the people making the beats, the people cutting the beats, the people rhyming on the beats, everything, the people dancing to the beats. That's all part of it. That's the spirit of hip hop. And that's why Light Years is a good album, because it's supposed to be a history lesson. It's not really supposed to be a we're flexing album. Nas proved that's not Nas. That's just, let's put it like that. Nas is not that kind of rapper. He never will be. He's more on like a for the new whatever Gen Z's, like he's like a Most Def, like in that kind of a lane for y'all youngins that need to, understand and recognize who Nas is. Recognize is respect and recognize in one word, one nice little sandwich
abs-
word. But
look, patent
I
that,
respect your bars, by the way. Huh?
Oh yeah.
patent
Oh
that one.
Yeah. Well, look, the reason I'm half the battle is knowing that we don't have to battle. That's off the Battle Axes joint, off the
Hmm.
Brutal Caesar project that His Humble Highness, how we linked. And the reason I'm wearing this is because my man is in recovery right now. Shouts to my man. I'm gonna keep his identity on the low just because,
Understood. Understood.
respect. But he was like, yo, I started group meeting with half the battle is knowing that we don't have to battle. And he's like, it started a riot in here, like, but in a good way, in a positive way. Everybody was like empowered by it. And I was like, I never pictured that bar to be like, it's like a flashy bar. It's like, if you want to battle me, is half the battle is knowing that we don't have to battle. But I never thought about it being what it did in that room. And it really humbled me really quick. And I was just like, taken back by that. I'm like, the power of our words inspire people in ways you don't know. That's why that microphone in your hands, especially the older you become, is a responsibility that you owe as an older man in
Yes,
society,
yes,
to own
yes.
your age, to own the things that come along with it, own your fuck ups, and not just own your fuck ups, but rise above them and pass that on. Be unk. They call you unk, so be unk. Be unk. You're still cool. You're getting up there. You got grays, but but you got knowledge and wisdom and understanding behind those grays. So pass those grays and hairs onto your heirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things where I look at getting older as a blessing. I've seen so many of my peers just pass away before 40, and my life is pretty good. I work days off work, and I'm just blessed in that way. I'm just blessed,
What you
man.
And it's a good thing. And it's a good
yeah.
thing too that we're taking a different spin on embracing age because when people look at ages 40 and 50, they be thinking that we're just gonna sit around and wear Cosby sweaters or dress with polyester and
Hell no.
like dressing like
Washed. You
Pop and the
washed.
Wayans
40, you
brothers and all
washed.
that. Like you just packed up. You know what I'm saying? Like we putting a different spin to 40 is the new 20, 30. We making it like age is a state of mind now.
But let me tell you something. Hip hop is the only like genre that really ostracizes you for getting old, because I'm 43 and I've been doing this for 23 years of my life, and like on some serious shit though, like how much work did I put in, and how much work do you got to put in to be somebody in New York, and how much work, like the imprints of my footprints are still felt from the work and the blocks I walked where we are today in battle rap. Some people call me a pioneer. People would be having a midlife crisis, be like, oh my God, I'm so old. I'm like, damn, I did that. I put that work in. And so fuck that. I'm proud.
And you have every right to be. What you were saying, Justin, we want to get back a little bit about what you talked about, getting older. And not just because I know the man and he's a good friend of mine, with Jeezy. And everybody was talking about how the new mixtape he did with DJ Drama, how he, how it was different. I'm like, well, of course, Jeezy's 47 years old. He's got kids and he's the Trapper Die Thug 101 Jeezy. He's moved past that. The album, the mixtape, when you listen to the beats, it's about a good time and Jeezy having a good time and doing something different. When you've established yourself in a certain lane of music and you become legendary in that lane, it allows for a certain level of creative expansion to broaden upon of which lands you have not traversed. That's the beautiful thing about the culture, because it is so rich and diverse. When we think about the mad genius of, rest in peace, one of the greatest of all time, MF Doom, Daniel DeMille, when we think about another one from the Bay, rest in peace to the great Mac Dre, Thiz in peace.
Yes,
The
sir.
the 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 sometimes unorthodox or unconventional nature of rhymes and beats mesh for coalescence of unexpected beauty and a cacophony of absolute catharsis. It is something that
Speak on it, God.
cannot be adequately articulated to give full appreciation and justice to it. Um, I guess that's what I'm feeling about the culture today. We don't have any soul in it because everybody thinks that they can do it. You can love it, but that doesn't mean that you are going to get on the mic and do something and represent it in a way that it needs to be represented.
So I want to interject for one moment and just say that's
Please.
because we live in a society where people are more consumed with the main character, than they are the
Right,
artistry and the artistic view, right? So it's like
right,
people
right,
people are more concerned with Trump's social media memes than what Trump is doing in office. You feel me?
right.
And that's the point of today's music. That's why it's important that the gatekeepers keep teaching these kids that there's elements to this shit. And without all the elements, you don't get all your Boy Scout badges. You know what I'm saying? Cool. You could rub two sticks together and start a fire. Cool. A lighter can do that too. AI can do that too. But can you stay in this game? How many people do you think are going to stick around for years? And I know that even if they do, they're more concerned with their life and who they are outside of the music, because that's what's been prioritized nowadays. Is not the music, is not the culture, is not the hip hop. That's why everybody with a microphone in their hand who is spitting at a certain level and has a certain audience, they need to broaden, and understand the weight of what they say. The magnitude of their words is so heavy when the gravity of society doesn't even exist. The moral fabric is unraveling day by day. And again, that just goes into us becoming robots, being ran by, like, not to get all controversial and shit, but we are, more dependent. It's amazing that less than 50 years ago, having a cell phone was not even a thing. And now everybody has to have one. Like, it's that kind of a transition. And so if you don't think big and get on that wavelength, you you can't even have the discussion. You can't even have the discussion. You
Right.
know?
The thing about it, I think, when we look at technology, Justin King, is that there's nothing wrong with it because it facilitates a level of efficiency and advancement that is essential for human existence. The problem is that people become so dependent on it, not understanding that there can be fallacies in it.
Facts.
The most succinct is statement I can say is that just because you read things on the internet does not automatically make it true, and you have to
Hmm.
check the source. Just like what you said about how artists, you don't get your merit badge just by meritocracy. It has to be from a level. You can learn how to rub two sticks together to make fire, but do you understand the science of friction and everything that goes into it that actually creates the spark that
Woo.
sets it off? And this
Hmm.
is the nuance. This is the nuance that has been neglected and negated, that is essential to doing the knowledge.
Big
There
facts.
are, you know, we know this empirically from the education that we have been in this culture of how the how it was written off, how it was dismissed, how it was deemed too violent, too misogynistic, too sexist, but most of all, it was too authentic. That's what they were trying to say, and they didn't know how to say it.
Mhm. Mm. Yes, yes. Nice way to tie a bow on that.
Um, when
We
you
going
think
and we
about,
going forward.
Mhm.
Hey, I was gonna say, man,
Go
and
no, go
going
ahead, King. Go ahead.
forward. Now we're going forward. You trying to, master your craftsmanship and becoming a rapper. Like, who are like your top 5 Queens rappers that pretty much were an influence to you?
Queens. Okay. Queens rappers top five. Nas is definitely number one. LL. I mean, it's really a toss between Nas and LL. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you that LL wasn't highly influential for me. So Nas, LL. Um, hmm. You know, I'm gonna say Nicki Minaj, and hmm. See, I'm debating right now whether I want to keep it mainstream or if I want to go like a little underground, because right away somebody like Rock Marcy pops into my head, So it's like it's two different discussions, that you want to have when you have this kind of a conversation. But off the top of my head, Nas, L, Nicki, I would say Rock Marcy in there, and then definitely Cool G Rap, man. Definitely Cool G Rap as well. Like, there's so many though. Like, it's like an unfair question. Like in the Queen song alone, it's like why can't they all be my favorite? And like to put them in a top five, I can't put it in like a numerical order. That's the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Putting it in like a numerical order is the pressure, because I like shit from all of them, man.
When we look at and you're listing, obviously, I mean, these are people that have accumulated work and the accolades that go along with completing that work. Um, I think in terms of where we look at it, I think Cool G, where LL was the first to really blow along with Run DMC. Um, LL is legendary, although, and I'm not, and obviously we don't say this on the show to cause friction or criticize. LL's career has been up and down in terms of some of his albums. It doesn't take
Mhm.
away from his greatness. There were some albums he'll tell you that he did that was not great. But in terms of longevity, and not just in the music, but being an artist to branch out into other avenues and reference of acting and business. You know, this man is a MC, he's an author with a hell of a biography that he wrote some years back,
Mhm.
and I mean, an accomplished actor. I mean,
But you But for me, as far
mhm,
as hip hop, why he's up there for me is because I,
mhm.
I relate to the fact that he can battle you and he can make a track about bitches.
That's true.
Like
That is true.
I don't think that there's many people that can do that and still like to be good at both. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. He's the originator. He's a pioneer of it.
So for me, it's I think more stylistically, it's not so much that like because don't get me twisted, like in like my top MCs is Ghost. Like Ghostface is like one of my favorite rappers.
Dude.
And I've been saying it, and it makes me mad that people are just getting caught up, but I'm also happy that they're finally getting caught up. You know what I'm saying? Because he's one of the most his style is just it's not always about what he says, it's about how he's saying it. And to me that's an important part of music when you become an instrument on the beat.
When what you said just is so pertinent because I tell people Iron Man was a great album, but I tell anybody really get the full essence of the great Ghost Dini, you have to listen to Supreme Clientele. When he
Put it
has
together,
lines
King.
like when he says lines like sitting in the balcony figuring Pamela Anderson Lee, hey yo, somebody might catch a Kennedy. I'm like, yo, who says this? That free word
And we
association,
did
oh
it,
my
and
goodness. Ghost is
we didn't
just,
even
oh my
understand.
God.
I didn't even understand 95 or what the hell he was saying, but it just
Yo,
sounded fly.
another person, if that's big facts, and another person that it didn't matter what the fuck he was saying was Nori was the nicest whack rapper you ever meet. Like he was nice, but he was whack. But
It's
nah,
crazy.
man, Ghost is up there. Ghost is
Yeah.
absolutely up there. I love him stylistically. I love the way he just, I mean, his pen glides, just the way he just skates on the run. Like run is like I can't tell you what that does to me in the gym. You know what I'm saying when I
Man,
listen to Run.
I think look, and somewhere along the line, he decided to become the rap Ric Flair. He started busting out with the robe and and that big
I
that
said
big
this that
Versace.
97 hole, big in the robe, MOP cold as ice, whipping the stove, Ghostface in the robe. Yo, like, cause that's New York. That's Ghost. Like, yeah, that's a trademark. That's an action figure. Ric Flair is a great comparison.
I mean, but when you think about the colorfulness of it, Ghost brought a certain level of visceral animation in terms of the most audacious and unexpected rhyme connections, free word associations ever. The only person I can think of, and I'm still mad we never got that album, or if they did, we never heard it. The Doom Ghostface album.
Oh yeah.
We were robbed of that. I mean, you know,
Nah, I love Ghost. Ghost can make me want to punch somebody in the face and then cry like a baby with all I got is you. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a very, he touches my heart as an MC. I love Ghost for real.
Ghost had one of the craziest conceptual songs ever when he talked about. I think he did a song called Underwater where he talking about swimming.
Look,
and when he was the Watch too.
Yeah, and of course when he did Wildflower. Oh my goodness.
Cat man, he could get on some swag, fly shit. And listen, Ice Cream was a club song. Let me like just let that sit for a second. Ice Cream was a club song. Like when you think of the club now, You think of bow, bow, bow. Right? You don't think of Three Thugs, baggy pants. It was just a different era. It was just a different. And
It
listen to
was
that beat. That shit was hard.
Hood. That was the Hood love song anthem when Ice Cream dropped. Shout out to
Big facts.
Ghostface and Raekwon, what they did,
Big facts.
because the song was just, all three of them had lines in it individually. You know, when Ghost said, you
Yo, honey
crabby
dip.
like seafood. Yeah, but I mean, we said that joint like, you crabby like seafood, it turns me on. I'm like,
Vasia La Rue. They call me Starky Love One.
yeah.
Check the strategy.
I
Yeah,
mean,
nah,
but
that
then of
whole.
course,
You're right. They all three of them do have quotables.
I mean, but that and the video itself was, to me, a love all women of all colors.
And
That was just a
just to
time
put
where videos. Yes, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say,
Go ahead.
just to put a different spin on it, we're having conversations about lyrics that are
Mhm.
20 years old, probably, maybe. Do you think in
Yes.
20 years the music
30.
they're making right now is gonna be relevant enough to even know the lines from the songs, right? And that's the problem with the culture today. The style is missing, the creativity is missing, aka the artist is missing. It's like
Yeah.
WWE, it's ran like politics. It's a business. Hip hop is a business. You got to understand, even on even on, a certain level, the albums that we get are cookie cutted for a certain reason. And because there's proven numbers behind doing certain songs to move albums. It's all scientific. My hand kissing, roboticalistic, optimistic. You probably no, sorry. That's nutmeg. Nutmeg. Um but yeah, nah, that's the problem. The problem is exactly that. The substance, the layers. That was a club song. It was hard. They all had lines. It was all kicking it on some fly thug shit, talking like, yo, nowadays that shit is probably like, perceived as maybe even offensive on some level.
When we think about it, and what you were saying about Nori, I think, and even with Nori, in terms of it, when the War Report dropped in '97, that New York gangster aesthetic was in full blast. Him, Mussolini, Trad Gaddafi, all of them, what they
CNN.
did. Yes, seeing it, that LaFrat Queens, that record was just hard.
Bananas.
What it may have, some said, lacked in lyrical dexterity, it was made up for them more in terms of the absolute chaos on wax that it had. I mean, you could feel that cold winter breeze and the bullets flying and the barbed wires all over the Kevlar.
Yeah, and you had to be alive to feel that, and you described it accurately. Nori's shit didn't have to be lyrical because you knew who he was. Everybody knew a Nori in their hood. Everybody knew, he was the kid that everybody knew was the thugged out motherfucking rowdy, just, what? That dude. Yo, my pops was a boxer. Like, I don't know how many times he had to tell us his pops was a boxer, but we knew.
Yeah. And when we think about that whole era, when we think about what was going on in the 90s, when we think about Wu-Tang Clan came in 93, when we look at Capone and Noriega, Nas came in 94, Jay-Z came in 96, in earnest, even before, some years before, in 88 with Jaz-O, but he really got on in 96 with Reasonable Doubt. The diversity, when we look at the ladies, when we look at Lil' Kim, Foxy, Queen Latifah was still doing it at that time, MC Lyte, there was going to be explicitness, but there was a level of cleverness, originality, and a unbelievable composition of charismatic magnetism that would define a generation. You had whole albums that were people's soundtracks to their lives. This is how much it impacted people during that time. Please give us your thoughts.
I definitely agree. I think that, listen, we lived in a different world as well. You got to remember the towers were still up. The
Yes,
mafia
yes,
was still a
yes.
thing. The mafia was still around. Gangs was running New York heavy. Um, this was all real life. There was still peep shows in Times Square. It was a
42nd.
different. Right, 42nd Street. That was the diss that started the whole lunch tale. Your mother works on 42nd Street. Oh yeah, well, you're so stupid. You know what I'm saying? From the
Yeah.
like bringing it back to the earlier reference, but no, like it was a different time period. So it's very important for people to understand the climate, to understand the culture, and so your life was your soundtrack, and all people that came from the hood that made it to a certain level had a certain level of hustle and discipline that the others didn't. And when you think about artists that came out at that time, like DMX, like, to me, DMX is all of us. You know what I'm saying? To some fucked up degree, to some
Yep.
degree, he's the spirit of hip hop. We understand DMX. We didn't judge him for his ways, but we respected him for what he did for us. And there were people back then like that just were life changing artists. Biggie is my favorite artist of all time. Biggie's my favorite
Mhm.
rapper of all time. And it's so crazy for me to think at this age that he was only like 24 years old. 20, that's like you're a baby. Like, you're a baby, and he was on that level. Like it's a total different respect, and it's a total different perspective on the music that raised me, that got me through so much in my life. So much. Music has been my therapy, my sickness and the remedy, like family and friends to me, the calm before calamity. I'm sane within insanity. Yeah.
When we think about it, and we know how this touches you in terms of that reciting of those incredible rhymes. When we look at Pac and Big, they're parallel so many ways in terms of we only had 5 years of them. Big
Mm-hmm.
drop Party and Bullshit on the Who's the Man soundtrack in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Pac's first album, Tupacalypse Now, dropped in November 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Pac was killed in 96 and Big was killed in 97.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them, upon Pac's first album, to me, probably Tupacalypse Now was my personal favorite. And I think that was when this was still because this was when he was starting out, and not saying Pac wasn't real, because he was, but it was just an unbelievably raw yet candid and honest dissertation of rhymes. Big pretty much kind of came in with bigger fanfare, especially after he got with Bad Boy, and of course the Super Cat Dolly by Baby remix. It rocked all of '93. I mean, and then that would lay the template for what would become the second rap album to be dropped on Bad Boy, behind Craig Mack's project Funk the World. It took Pac a while before he got to that place Big did, but they eventually both ended up in the same place as superstardom. And tragically, we still did not get to hear the best from either one of them. When you think about the music today, Jus, there was battles, which is another element of it, because this is what you do. Battling has almost become a death sentence. Well, I can't even say almost. It has. It's a literal death sentence for dudes to get out there and diss each other on wax. I mean, it's literally like you're calling this man out.
It depends on the battling, because that's drill culture is totally different from hip hop. Like, battling is like what Cassidy and Easy the Block Captain did. That to me is what
right.
Real rapper. It's more like I wouldn't call it diss rap. I call it Terminator music.
You might have to patent that, King. Terminator music.
It's Terminator music, man, because they're doing nothing but talking about unaliving one another.
Let me tell you what it is with battle rap. It's you got to know who you are, right? It's like everybody
Right.
thinks they can fight in the backyard, but then there's the Kimbo Slices of the backyard, right? And so there's just a different level that you know they could take it pro, and there's it's different just battling with your friends and battling with your homies. But when you're around a group of sharp MCs all the time, and this is what you do, and you freestyle, and you could do it on TV, you could do it on the radio, you could do it on a fly, you could do it in the park, you do it on the train. It's just inherently what you do. It's different than somebody that like sort of, again, it just goes back to like the template and cutting and pasting, and so there's a difference between authenticity and just perpetrating a fraud, So
Well,
I think there's levels to it. I like that people are open to it. I like that it's looked at on such the level that it is now, that it's like a fun thing. I like that people have mainstreamed it, but that's also part of the problem that happens. You dilute it, you saturate it, and it becomes a little bit less potent than it was. The vodka of the previous 100 years is not the vodka of today that's truly in a can.
yeah, and I think while we have authenticity and the ability, there are two different sciences. It's like watching the And1 documentary, and Kyrie Irving was breaking it down about how a lot of those guys in And1 think that they could play in the NBA. And
Right.
he's like, no, y'all can't.
No, there's a different level. There's a different level between backyard wrestling and professional wrestling. There's a difference between a boxing gym and boxing in the Golden Gloves. It's just different levels to this shit, and people think it's all the same. There's different levels to karate. There's different levels to everything that's a craft. And battle rap, hip hop is, again, you can't battle rap, right? So it's like hip hop, battle rap is under the umbrella of hip hop. Hip hop is the culture. And it's always been a thing. I think, battling has always been a part of the culture, from DJs to breakdancing. And so the hip hop aspect of it, I love it. I kind of just got thrown in it. I thought it was just something you had to do to be an MC from New York. It was like that to me. It's just like, you have to be able to do this. If you can't do this, then sit the fuck down and don't even come to the table, So it just, you had to do it, and you had to be able to freestyle to be a rapper and be an MC. In my eyes, my definition of that has changed, but to me, at the core, you have to be able to cook with all the ingredients a little bit.
When you got yourself into battle rap, just because we've seen it come so far, from the Rap Olympics to the Blaze battles to I mean everything. I mean, it's just really grown. When you first got into it, what was it like seeing a lot of those people?
We basically had been the cornerstone for catapulting the game for where it is right now, as far as New York hip hop goes and as far as battle rap goes. Like there was an internet group called Grind Time, and Grind Time was like pretty getting well known because all the battles were on World Star. It was really more popping in Cali, and there was chapters of it, around the entire country. And we had the New York division. Now the New York division was ran by PH. Rest in peace, PH. That was my big homie, my big bro. I love him, and he was the glue that kept a lot of us together and gave a lot of us our push when we needed it. And he was just a humble guy, but such a legend and such a good person, and I miss his energy. But anyway, he was the leader of the Grind Time division, and Poison Pen and him were pretty close. There's like a group, Team Hami, that's associated a lot of New York rappers, and a lot of people are in that, PH being one of them. And so he had started doing the battle rap culture back then, and that turned back into like Smack, because Smack was doing the DVDs, but he hadn't really done the live events like we had been doing them. And so we kind of merged the subcultures, and from there, like it went into what it is kind of today. It kind of was blowing up on TV on Jimmy Fallon. You saw when I don't know if y'all saw when I did the clip on Jimmy Fallon, and just the different platforms, King of the Dot, Smack, and then a lot of people started opening their own leagues, and then politics, and then of course everything just gets corrupt, and then just becomes a little bit less and less from where it was. But the fact that it was like it really went down the way I'm telling you, and it's amazing to see how far it's come, how humble its beginnings were, and how many people really enjoy it. It's like a guilty pleasure for a lot of people that they were afraid to maybe admit, because it made them like a little nerdy, because you got to be a little smart to get some of the bars and references in battle rap. It's a lot of components to it, but it's really for the lyricist fan. It's for a fan who likes crafty wordplay and lyricism at its finest. I'm talking about grade A quality craftsmanship, chiseled, sharp, Hattori Hanzo Ginsu fucking blade sharp lyricism. And
you said Hattori Hanzo, and you know who that character of Samurai Showdown was based on.
And so just, it's one of those things where if you know, if you get it, you get it. And I think that a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon, but I also love to see how big and how much power the weight of this like subsection in hip hop has. People like always associated with Eminem, but there's a lot more, and respectfully, a lot better than Eminem. People like Loaded Lux, for instance. Loaded Lux is definitely one of the pioneers from the Lions Den. He's had his own league back in Harlem when the grind time even before the grind time shit, Smack era we're talking about, and he pioneered and birthed a lot of the hip hop like artists that came out of that area, as far as giving them a platform. They were doing their thing, but he was the first to give them a platform. So as the platforms grew, so did he in stature, and he's Jay-Z was the mainstream tweet. That's when it went really into the next stratosphere. Jay-Z never put any tweets out, and then his first tweet was like a Loaded Lux bar,
And we going into and we talking about your EP that you recently just put out. It was straight fire, man. I'm going here just straight tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're a scholar and a gentleman, King. But His Humble Highness is probably one of my favorite projects to date. It was a long time coming. I just think I understand the assignment now, if that makes sense. I think I understand that, you want a quality over quantity, and you want to take your time with it, and you just want to make sure that you trim the fat and you serve the steak the way it was meant to be cooked. So I really appreciate that. It was a few years, and it was a long time. Me and Brutal were supposed to, shout out to Brutal Caesar, we were supposed to work a mad long time ago when he had a different alias and he got his whole identity hacked and all that shit, and they were stealing his beats and trying to beat him. Like, fucking beat motherfuckers are weird. Sometimes, respectfully. But I love the project. To me, it's like I feel like it's a repeat album, and I say that humbly. But it's like I love it to the point where I could repeat my own shit and it doesn't get like boring to me. There's certain joints on there, like Off With His Hair, that's like my gym joint. Like when I go to it, that's like right up there with like the bunch of my other gym shit, X, DMX shit, Can't Nobody. But I appreciate that. Was there anything that stood out to you on the album specifically? I know you loved the sample for John Cena. I know that.
Yeah, they messed up a lot of money for that, man, because you did that around the time he turned heel, and then by the time you dropped the project, he turned back good guy again. I said, goddamn.
Well, that's okay. Listen, wrestling is a revolving door. It's always going to change. The storylines are the storylines, but it's more or less what I took from it. And, that whole heavy is the head, thorns in my crown, pulling arrows at my back as I walk through the crowd. It took a long time coming, took the long road, and now all the scars I survived tap my forearms proud. It's me talking about the journey I've been through, more specifically the past 12 years in hip hop. I was at a point where I was going to, I'll put it to you like this. I went a lot of places and I could have gone a lot of places. And I say that humbly, but I know where I was at, and I didn't have that same perspective back then. And I didn't have the mentorship that I needed, and I'm not blaming it on nobody, but I'm open to understanding and accepting that as a part of my hip hop journey. And so now I'm speaking from that perspective. No bad blood. It's nobody's fault. I have no hostility. I feel like I'm much wiser and much more prepared. And because of that, I put out much better music. And so everything that I put out since 2022, when I did come back, or 2023, I think. No, 2022, when I came back after a long hiatus, I've felt a certain responsibility to myself. I wanted to love the music. I want to love the music I put out. I don't just want to put out mediocre shit. I want to make sure it's something that I would bop and as an unbiased view. I want to make sure it has replay value. I want to make sure it sounds crispy and great to the highest level where it can compete with commercial hip hop, even though that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want it to sound like that. And the things I say on the microphone are very important, and the way that the albums are put together are very important. So I do pretty much everything on my own as far as getting, the arrangement and all that. I got a fantastic team that helps me, and that I've been blessed to work with. But as far as like most of like the album putting together and everything like that, it's all a one-man band.
I mean,
And I was
that's
saying
something.
that, we talk, and we, I ain't mean to cut you off, T-Max, but
No, go ahead,
we
go ahead.
shooting off the hip right here, but. And we was making reference to WWE and wrestling. Do you have any wrestlers, particularly in your Mount Rushmore? Like, are you a fan of the sport?
I love wrestling. Wrestling raised me. I fell out of love with it for a little while, and when I was going through like my, I don't want to call it my thug era, but I was on the block. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have time to watch wrestling. But that being said, I'm back to watching wrestling every week. I got a homie that's a wrestler. We did music together as well. You might know him, MVP. That's like my homie. And I'll put it to you like this. There were things that I was a part of that I had the opportunity to work on because of him. And it's like legendary, life-changing shit that, like, if if it wasn't like an NDA type of situation, I would love to be like, bah! Because it's exciting when you ask, are you a wrestling fan? To be able to do something like that and be a part of writing something that was like used in a performance was incredible for me. I've ghostwritten. Going into ghostwriting, I've ghostwritten. I've done like rap albums about business books, and I've done private celebrity birthday parties, birthday songs, all type of shit. I made a living off of hip hop. Like, I'm telling you, like, when I said that statement before, it's like there's a lot more places I could have gone, but life had a different trajectory for me, and I'm not mad at it. I'm happy about it, because when I came back, I was prepared and strong enough to do so because of everything that I've been done. And I did put in years and years and years and years of work. Motherfuckers know who the Bow-Legged Bandit is. You kidding me?
And that's, to hear that is so refreshing, because in a industry where we see a lot of hubris, you have shown humility. That level of vulnerability is very, very, very welcoming, because people have to understand this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And when you commit yourself to a craft, you have to have unwavering discipline and understand and unyielding dedication, and most importantly, an eternal desire to keep being great, striving for perfection. What have you found in your journey, Jus, in terms of what it means to be on an independent level and to really get out and do the legwork?
No pun intended. Yeah, so I would say that what I've learned is there's a lot of elements to it, and it could be very overwhelming for somebody that doesn't have their shit together. It can be kind of a very like almost impossible mountain to climb for some people. And when they think about really all the levels, like a lot of people will go to the studio, cut a record and think that that's it, and then they'll get somebody to put artwork out and think that that's it. But there's so many different levels to, like, when you do music at a certain level, understanding how many layers of there is, and it's about how far your knife can cut the layers of the onion. Sometimes that even means financially, to get it to where it's got to go. So that being said, a lot of people aren't ready to have that discussion, just like a lot of people aren't ready to hold themselves accountable. And that's why the culture that we are in does not have receipts. They don't have receipts to back up the words, and they're commentators. They're spectators. We've played the game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like this. What they say, y'all think y'all elephants, but you're nothing more than shells that everybody in the peanut gallery throwing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's you want the accolades without the achievements.
Half the battle is knowing that we don't have to battle. You understand?
That is a hell of an open interpretation for that. I mean, but you're right. How do you parallel hip hop today to wrestling of now, from the old days to the new, with both elements?
Because most hip hop people are a character. They're not like, they're a character. There's a lot of them are characters of themselves, and that's very parallel to wrestling. And it's also understanding that it's a business once you've reached a certain level of A level, B level, and even C level success. There's sort of like rules, and there's sort of SOPs and ways to operate and move in certain places you're supposed to be and expected to be, and just certain things you do that are just part of the business aspect of it. And wrestling is very much like that, in a sense that it's always the big wigs that are really the ones making the money. The laborers aren't really the ones like really making that kind of money. And there's a lot of shit you got to swallow in order to be at a certain level, like whether people want to admit to it or not, it's true. And some people are willing to do it, and it doesn't make a person any less integritous if they, they don't have less integrity if they are willing to evolve. But some people aren't willing to compromise over everything either, and that also is a gem in modern society, where people are starting to, I gotta watch what I say. I can't even, I can't be politically incorrect. I can't say this word. I can't say that word. I gotta use pronouns. I gotta filter out every fucking thought. So why are we even having a fucking conversation if that's the kind of level we gotta be on?
It makes, and when you're looking at all these questions or the qualifiers that you have to put in, it can make the presentation disingenuous. When we look at that level of wrestling from the 80s, from 1980 to roughly, we could stretch it into maybe 2001, when the golden era of where we really began to see it grow, and all the legends, Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Paul Orndorff.
You want to have that kind of a conversation, like who's who?
I mean, but then when we look at how it was presented back in the day, it was definitely, and then we had this upstart company from Pennsylvania known as ECW.
Right.
that had their slogan politically incorrect and damn proud of it.
But you listen, controversy and being the bad guy sells more tickets than being the good guy. People want to see the good guy because they want to see the good guy kick the bad guy's ass. And in life you learn that too. The older you get, the villain, how do you say it on that joint? He goes, Dark Knight feelings, die or be a hero. He says, or live long enough to see. He goes, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Like, basically, it's true. It's true. Mm-hmm. That line is deep, and everybody eventually roots for the bad guy subconsciously. You never look for the cop that caught so-and-so, the person that took down so-and-so, but you got the docu-series on Netflix for the killer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what's wild? And with T-Max taking it back to that age, that go to show you, man, that's what's missing with the culture, man. They need the cocaine and steroids back. Because I seen something earlier before I got on, man. I was like, hold on, man. You mean to tell me Randy Savage, he had the snake bite, had Jake the Snake Robber had the snake bite Randy Savage in the arm? That's some cocaine, boy. That cocaine is heavy back then, man.
Yo, he was paranoid as shit. Yo, if you watch some of those, do you ever watch some of those documentaries that they put together on the rivalries and the feuds and shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those are fire, and some of those caught me up with some. Remember when I was telling you, like, there was a time period where I wasn't totally into wrestling, and they kind of brought me up to speed where I kind of left off. So I appreciate those series even more so. But I think it's just dope what wrestling writing does. I think it's something that, you know, if you know how to tell the art of telling a story is an MC. It's an MC. And so there's a certain rhythm in the ring. There's a certain rhythm behind what they do. There's a certain element of selling it, and they're MCing to the crowd. And John Cena was fantastic at that. He was fantastic at that. Certain people that are good on the mic, like CM Punk. You don't have to love him as a wrestler, but you got to give him his credit on the mic. There's people like Jey Uso that they give the shot, but fumble twice, and they need to go back to their brother because they can't hold their own on the mic. So it's like there's a responsibility, you know, when it comes to that microphone too. And I think that's dope about wrestling. I think that that's dope that it has that little extra layer on it, you know.
Who's your top 5 charismatics in terms of dropping dialogue on the microphone that were main event worthy?
That's tough. I would say, I mean, obviously John Cena, right? Obviously, like that's a no-brainer. Some of the wrestlers of past, like listen, man, they were great shit talkers, you know. Like Ric Flair's a magnificent shit talker. Like he's one of the best. Like he's just entertaining as fuck to watch. Who else? You know, to say greatest, let's think. I
gotta give it up. I ain't mean to cut you off, but I gotta give it up to the great homie New Jack, man. He in my top 5.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. I could give credit. I can't give you a top 5, but I could tell you there's people like LA Knight right now that they're smooth on the mic. Like people like that know how to control the room. He knows how to read the room and shit like that. Piper was I mean, I love Piper too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like Piper would talk that shit and you didn't know if it was a promo or real. I mean, that's what I loved about the Piper segments.
Jake the Snake.
Stone Cold. You know, even though he was messy when he got in his bag, he would just kick ass, and he was hilarious to watch. I mean, that Booker T shit is one of the best things ever.
Man.
The supermarket shit. I mean, yo, come on, man. Come on. And then, you know, some of those matches, listen, you got to give wrestlers like credit. Like, they're in the gym, they're athletic, their cardio is up, and they got to carry a certain build for television, obviously. But man, doing that like 250 nights a year, I mean, that's rough. That's rough.
It is. When I think about Taz, when Taz would say, beat me if you can, survive if I let you, I'm like, that's cold.
All right there.
I mean, when you think about Jake the Snake and how he would do it, I mean, Randy Savage, you know, I mean, The Rock, you know, straight.
There's so many good wrestlers, and to see like their sons doing it like now, and to like know that their pops was in wrestling and then their grandfathers was in wrestling, and it's crazy. Also, that's another funny thing. Like, you realize wrestling is kind of like a family business. There's certain people that are born into that shit that, you know, I think they purposely and intently since birth are grooming to take over at a certain level. I mean, wouldn't you at that point? That's like, it's like there's so much money in wrestling, it's ridiculous. Like, when you get to a certain level, not like the main people down here, but when you get to a certain level, there's so much money in wrestling.
Man, you figure this was 20 plus years ago. And when The Rock, you know, kind of did his semi-retirement when he went away back in 2002 to make movies, he was really only about 5-6 years in, and by the time he left wrestling, he was making $4.5 million a year. I'm like,
$4.5 million on wrestling salary?
Yeah, on his wrestling salary, he was making about $4.5 million a year. Yeah, and this is when he, you know, left at the time to go and start doing movies.
Right.
Because that's when his movie careers began to kick off.
Right.
But that's
the thing about it too. It's like rappers. like some of them can dip into that bag and they can turn it on and do other shit with it. They can do, movies, they can act, they could do like podcasts, some of them. When you are able to use a microphone and you're able to kind of, carry a conversation and you have something to say and you're a little entertaining, it attracts an audience. And so it's cool to see some of the old wrestlers doing that shit now too, and also passing on the knowledge to certain people and grooming them and sort of still holding that sense of responsibility, kind of like hip hop. They're kind of like Nas and Primo and some of these young wrestlers, like, people like The Undertaker and other people that are like taking them under the wing and kind of grooming them,
Yeah,
Right.
and I think we got to understand too in terms of how it affects them. What you said, being on the road 250 nights. I think when we saw the Beyond the Mat documentary back in '99, that was an eye opener because we got to see
Yeah,
them as
yeah.
people.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Listen, it's crazy. I mean, it's not no artist, like there's some artists that tour heavy like that, but not that heavy. Not that heavy. And what they do to their bodies, like some of them put their bodies on the line every night. And there's a certain level you got to respect. Like when you know what goes into like maintaining your physique like that and eating like that and doing all that type of shit, it's like you got to give them respect. It's a lot of discipline that a lot of motherfuckers don't have. And on top of that, they're all partying and, drinking and doing all types of crazy shit too.
Well,
Yeah, it's
we
kind
got
of like it parallels heavily with the rap game, man, because you also get to see what goes on beyond the curtain, and and how these dudes, they can't handle not being the man no more. When them hit records don't start coming in, when them residuals stop coming in, they got to be a regular guy, and they can't, and their ego can't take it.
I said in my song Andy Dufresne, the spotlight loses watts before it does the MC, and that's what the aftermath. That movie, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, is so
deep. Yes, that movie is clairvoyant of how the wrestling world is in terms of what it is.
Yep.
Because I think
I love that movie.
I think they said for Ram Robinson, I think they cased that around maybe 4 or 5 different wrestlers. Ric Flair was, I think, one of the main inspirations. But I think it had a little bit of Bret Hart as well. It's just like 4 or 5 different wrestlers. But Mickey Rourke, for what he did with that movie, to see that, I saw that movie about close to 15 years ago. I was blown away when I saw it. I was like, wow.
Same. He and like again, Mickey Rourke could really relate to some of that shit because he understands the discipline. He puts a lot of work into his body. He was in incredible shape in that movie. And just how he brought it to life.
Yes.
And
yes.
You felt it. And that's like years before that, I said the spotlight loses watts before it does the MC. And that's kind of that feeling. You never really, you become an ordinary guy. Like you said, King, it's like, people don't know how to step into that reality, and sometimes that breaks them. But there's nothing wrong with that reality because you've lived a life that most people wish they can live and do, and that is satisfying and gratifying in itself, depending on what you can accept, like as an actuality when you get older. It all depends on the person's perspective and whether they're going to be a miserable fuck or they're going to embrace life.
And then we got certain individuals acting out here, going into their 50s, acting like YNs and everything. And we're like,
right? But that's true. That's true. Like when, like Cat Williams is hilarious. Like when he was talking about that restaurant skit, he's like, "We are in public. Don't you know they can hear you? Like they can see you? Like and people are acting belligerent and like, no, that's not cute." That's not cute.
I mean, but that's something when you look at the levels of maturity, we reflect on Nas because Nas he's one of those artists when to me in the top in this generation, to me of longevity, it has to be Jay, Nas, and Fabulous. And the thing is, I've always said this. I preface this by saying I'm not negating Nas's career, which has been stellar and legendary, but you have to be a certain type of hip hop head to appreciate the level of what Nas speaks on wax. And not everybody can appreciate the art of what Nas articulates. But to me, probably Fabulous probably has the best all around career next to Jay-Z in terms
That's
of.
interesting. That's interesting. I could see why you say that. I could see why you say that. And I think Fabulous has also been pretty consistent as an artist. We've seen growth from him, but we haven't seen a whole lot of versatility from him. That's one thing I will say.
But when he drops,
he basically took off where Mace left off.
I think Fabulous is in a Jadakiss bag when it comes to their consistent. Like Jadakiss is better to me personally. Like, but I think
we saw the battle. We saw the verses.
Yeah, no. I mean, even before that, though, ever since he got to squeeze the juice out of the headphones, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about locks back in the day. Like, that bad boy, like, that was a banger. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Like, but anyway, somebody said they was at the Pontiac Silverdome when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant and everybody went crazy. That's dope. That's dope. That's showing your age. Andre the Giant. Shout out to Andre the Giant, man. He was also like a crazy game changer for wrestling too, if you know anything about that. Like, it was crazy. And he gave Hogan the push.
Yeah. I mean, but that's something where I think when we look at it, it's about just how, people advance in the game. When you look at how you're transitioning and looking ahead, Nas, when he started Mass Appeal Records, he was already looking from the perspective of how we move this culture forward by showing love to the veterans. How do you both feel about that from a perspective of a legendary figure who was such as Nas, who was so proactive in preserving the culture that he really made a move, a bold one at that, to ensure that the legends would never be forgotten?
I think Nas puts his name on the line, and he puts his reputation and his legacy on the line when he does shit that he does, works with certain artists. And I think he takes big, bold moves because he knows that he's a visionary. Nas is a visionary. Nas sees a bigger picture and has been telling us that since he was a little kid, I think him taking a time to really stop everybody from moving so fast and say, hold on. Yeah, we're going into the 21st century, but at the same breath, we got to stop and remember how we got here. So let's put this museum together and let's put this memoriam together to make sure that y'all know who built these bridges, who built these tunnels upon these roads that we are yet to travel. Okay, let's make sure y'all know. So it's going to be that kind of evolution, and to put that and a timestamp on that, that's legendary in itself. That's seeing beyond, that's light years ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's something.
Man. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that, man, because it gives the pioneers a voice. Because it's easily, as this game moves so fast, it's easy for the pioneers to be seen as dinosaurs. So you don't want to see these guys get washed out of history, because it's so easy to wash people out of history. So him, getting into that place of power where now he could be in control and let these guys do them without having some out of touch A&R try to tell them what to say, what beat to pick, what sells. It's a beautiful thing.
And let's not forget that the older we get, motherfuckers are still paying to see Tyson and low-key want to see Tyson win. So at the end of the day, if the hip-hop pioneers and people that paved the way for the second coming of hip-hop, after after the beginning of hip-hop, like Nas, he came in right like late 80s, 90s. So that's what I mean by that. He's seeing the future. He's been here since the beginning, and he's been making contributions, not just little ones either. Not just little ones either. Let's not forget, like, his response. Everybody was waiting on the edge of their seat for his response to Jay Everybody was waiting for Nas. Everybody. That's how. But people are sometimes scared to admit they like Nas because he doesn't pick the best beats. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's always being ostracized. But King's disease. He's always been ostracized for his own greatness. And that's it, man. Nas is a big picture kind of guy. He makes me want to think big picture and bigger than I'm thinking, because I know I'm capable of doing that if I exercise my mind to do so. And so, like I said, that's kind of why I'm also a little more selective about the music that I put out. I have a lot of music that I have not put out, and it's all right. Life has a way of preparing you. It's like that. It's like money in the bank. Like, you got savings, right? So I can keep putting shit out. But it's me. I'm very selective about what I want to put out. I'm very much a perfectionist. I'm very much meticulous when it comes to the details. I listen to the little things that nobody would even know of, and I gotta sometimes do things over. Like, I'm at that level where back in the day it would have been like a one take, Jake, fuck it, we done, let's go. It's a whole different mindset, me in the studio. And again, like I said, I think getting older, having that sense of responsibility, seeing that guys in hip hop are buying real estate, and if you ain't investing property, it's probably enclosed. The problem is one depreciates, the other escrows. That's grown man rap. If it ain't adding up, that's because we on two different maths. You can't elevate high if you're stuck in the trap. The truth will set you free. Hold your head. Most people cap. Very few spit rhymes, but everyone raps, and I love it, but ain't fucking with that. That was the line I was trying to get out before.
But that type of lethal lyricism is very intentional in terms of what is helping people to understand and reach their potential. And I guess for our wish is that a lot of the youngins coming into the game, because we're not grumpy old men about the game, but we just want the young people to understand you're in something that is going to reach people thing that they can think about in a real way that is actually beneficial. And a lot of times everybody just is in love with a celebrity, but they don't necessarily, and they want, but they it's in credibility,
Right.
And where do you, in terms of how do you see social media and how it has changed the game, Jus?
I was late. My arrival to that was late to realize its power and truly what it could do for you. I undermined its power, and I think I say power respectfully, because social media is a platform. It's another platform. It's another stage. It's another stream. It's another way for people to connect with your artistry that may live in the Philippines or Australia or China or Korea or anywhere in the world that you may not be able to have even access to, and it's one of those things that I truly appreciate and understand the benefit of. I also understand that there's a lot of strategy involved behind people that are successful in it, and you have to respect the elements of that too. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because I was the type of person that said, fuck social media. I was all about Twitter, because Twitter was, to me, it's like it's like a forum. Twitter is like a forum, as opposed to where Instagram is a show and Facebook is like let's hang out in everybody's living room and see what they're doing on their phone. That's like what I feel like when I watch fucking Facebook. But I appreciate what each does, and I think that it's a way to reach people, connect with people that may be common and similar to you or need your message, and take something out of you. And it's another form of giving energy to the world, and some people are ready to receive it. And if you're ready with true intention to be you, authentically you, then there's no reason to filter out your every thought and do anything other than you would speaking on this platform, on that platform, in person, to your face, behind your back, So I just look at it as another outlet. And again, it can literally be what back in the day was like SoundCloud discovery. People were discovering people on SoundCloud, right? That's how people were getting famous. So, social media is an extension of that. And there's obviously downsides that come with that, but that's the downsides that come with the entry of the people that we spoke about entering the culture before. It's the same exact responsibility. It's a platform that if you do have the following, people are listening to you. Most people are flies on the wall judging you, and most people want to see you fail. But just understanding everything that comes along with it, just do you. Fuck everybody.
And that's the most important thing. Understand it at the end. You see the vision, even if other people don't. In terms of the industry today, and where we talked about ageism earlier in hip hop, uh, yourself, of course, living legends like Griselda, Rock Marcy, Mitchie Slick, E40, so many others that are still doing music. We talked about Nas already. How does it feel to see them still doing it and at a high level doing it? And the Locks as well.
Ghostface. I would say some of them are putting out quality. Some of them are just maybe putting out because they feel pressure. And I think that
Okay.
I think there's feeling. I think some people should put out things if it's organic, and some people should not really try to piece projects together, because you hear it in the older rappers. You hear it in the way they're putting together these albums, and that's why fans are giving the criticism. They're trying to catch wreck would be like the old slang for what they're trying to do now with their old shit. And I like that they're rapping. It's inspiring. Some of it I think is okay. I don't think it's fantastic. Some of it is it's a one-time play and that's it. Some of it is oh, this shit is fire. But other than that, I'm glad to see them doing their thing. I'm glad to see them not giving a fuck about being out there and just making a statement, and just honestly putting if there's meaning behind what they're doing, I'm all for it. If it's bullshit, I really don't support it.
Understood. And I mean, the thing is, you want to still, and I mean, you want to make sure that whatever you do, that it means something. You don't want to go through the motions, as they say.
Right.
It's when you're having a matchup with the mic, you want a savage, you want a savage Steamboat type main event.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want a Hogan Flair that was kind of maybe 10 years too late.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And going back into that too, man, have you ever experienced writer's block, and if you did, how were you able to overcome it?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's writer's block per se, but sometimes I think it's that there's no time to put into writing, and then there's sometimes that you're just flowing, right? It's crazy. So it's if I sat there and try to write a rhyme and I can't write a rhyme, I don't like to push it if I don't have to. It's an assignment. If I have to do something write a song for, I was telling y'all, I did songs for celebrities, birthday parties, drug commercials, that type of shit for really, really big companies. And if I have to, I've always been inspired to complete the assignment, so I never felt it. So that would be the only time I would force myself to write, if I had a writer's block per se. But if I don't feel it, I don't force it. And sometimes I feel the pressure because I'm damn, I can't write right now. But again, when I do write and I open that bag up, it flows, and I don't get lazy with it. I don't put the pen down. I'm writing all the time. When it comes back, I'm writing in my bed. I'm fucking writing. I'm spending myself voice notes. I'm freestyling all the time in my brain. It's kind of writer's block also brings on some bad habits too, because you step away from things for a while. You ain't listening to beats the same. You ain't really inspired. So it might not be writer's block. It might be just inspiration. I don't know if I have inspiration block sometimes, or I don't know if it's writer's block.
How did it feel when you started getting those big name corporations and celebrities hitting you up for work?
It was cool to me. Like I thought it was cool. I thought it was part of the job. Just like I thought like battle rapper was part of the fucking job. You know what I'm saying? Like it just to me it was yeah, like I just thought like okay, this is if you could battle rap and make songs about bitches, you could definitely rap in the boardroom, homie. Like it was just like that. It was that kind of a
Right, right.
mentality. And that actually helped me in my own personal career when I had to, I got married and had to work, and my whole family situation became kind of crazy, and I had to become that guy to kind of support all that. And because I was broke as a joke, but I I turned my hustle on, and I did what I had to do to change my life, and not just my life, some others. And I'm really fucking proud, and thank God for it all the time. I'm humble about it. So that said, yeah, like was the question about writer's block? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, just in terms of when you got those calls from those corporate offices. I mean, 'cause that's
So yeah, it was just
yeah.
part of the job. I mean, it was cool. Like some people, like one of the guys flew out from Australia to come meet me. It was on Skybox, which is like MSNBC out there.
Okay.
The vice president of Polo, like I performed at her birthday party. They wrote a custom song for her. They even made napkin holders based off of the song that I came up with for her. Which is kind of cool. And then like that, like it would allow me to travel. It would open the door for other opportunities. And I had always never felt pressure to talk to anybody in the room. Like some of these people were making millions of fucking dollars. Like, and I'd say here I am, like this fucking bow-legged kid, this handicapped dude from fucking Queens that they saw on TV, but they want me at their birthday party, and the energy is undeniable, and you feel it and see it in person, So it's like I feel humbled, blessed, confused, grateful, all at the same time.
Well, you're in the same place as Tyler the Creator. Because I didn't know this until reading an article on Double XL a couple of years ago that he's done directed and like written for commercials and all that.
Yeah, I even Pusha T too. Pusha T wrote McDonald's.
No, that was Pharrell that wrote that. Pharrell wrote that.
Oh, Pharrell. Okay, but still, it's hip hop.
Yeah, Pharrell.
It's hip hop.
Yeah. Pharrell came up the I'm loving it. Yeah.
And look, not too many people can do what I do. And again, I say that humbly, like not too many people can. And like, I'm not putting on no fucking show. This is just me. I'm on the park bench. I'm in the boardroom. I'm on the block. I'm on the stage. Like, that's just me. I don't put on a persona. It's just all of like the things that I embody, that I do, and that are a part of what make me. And so I would be a fool not to tap into those opportunities if they came. And at the time, I really needed them. So they were all blessings, really, that just kind of helped me just stay afloat when times were really hard and shit got really real,
What trappings did you manage to avoid in terms of being in the business like that? Some people, it's the ostentatious spending, some it's the drugs, some is just bad habits that they can't get out of. How did you avoid all of those pitfalls?
I mean, who's to say I avoided them, right? Like, listen, I had my little run-ins with everything, man. Like, I'm a human being. I've submitted to vices and I've overcame them. I was 500 pounds. I lost 250 pounds and went from walking with crutches to a cane. I went to changing my entire life. I struggled with addiction for a little bit that nobody truly knows, that I wasn't ready to talk about or admit. But then I walked away from everything.
Understood.
You couldn't put a drug or nothing in front of my face, no matter how hard you tried. And I had that willpower and determination, like with a lion's strength. I'm proud of the things I overcame, and where maybe I was a little bit more unsure, I'm still humble, but I'm overly confident in what I've achieved now.
What do artists have to understand about understanding that this is a job, and that if you don't get control of understanding yourself and this is a profession, how it can take you down?
I think what you have to understand about a job is like any job you work has a system within it, and you have to learn to become good at the system if you want to be good at the job. It's just a part of it. It's not something that you can deny even as is a part of it. And a lot of people don't want to assume or accept the responsibility and work with that goes with it. I think in order to be truly, truly successful, you're going to work your ass off. You're not going to get there by accident. You're going to work your ass off. You're going to understand that it's really not about you. And that might be hard to swallow because you're the name and the attention, but you're not really
Right.
the centerpiece of like what's going on. And then once you really learn the mechanics of how the business works, it deflates you even more. And it's going to keep chipping at you and chipping at you. And there's going to be people that just are around you because they need to be or because they think there's an opportunity, and they don't really want to see you win. They just want to be there for their own opportunities. And it becomes a very, very lonely place. And so it's not for everybody. I think it is for a lot of people, and you just got to be ready for what comes with it. And the people that make it to the top usually are definitely ready, but also you read the horror stories. Don't drown yourself out in drugs. Don't numb the pain. Deal with the uncomfortable phases, and you'll overcome it and be very good. And eventually maybe it'll go your way, but you got to play the system to be a part of it. And if it's not for you, don't waste your time, because you'll only get to a certain point, and then you might even destroy what you have and become blackballed because you didn't play by the book and you said too much. And it's happened to many, many people.
Absolutely. In terms of artists out there, who would you want to work with?
I'm open to work with a lot of people. I think right now I'm in like a soulful era. I would love to work with singers right now. I'd love to do a joint with like Maya, get like in that kind of a zone, like an Erykah Badu, like something like soulful.
Let's get SZA.
Like
Let's get SZA.
SZA. Yes. Like fuck rappers. Respectfully right now. You know what I'm saying? like real shit. Like listen, look, like there's rappers I would love to do joints with. Like J. Cole would be a crazy joint, I got a lot of respect for him as far as the new breed. I really do. I just sometimes like his moves are gonna be questionable. Everybody's gonna just look at the artist. Let's stop looking at the character. Let's remember that everybody doesn't have main character energy. Let's remember that Q-Tip was a bird before he became what he became. But he walked through that, and it's okay. You could be a bird. You don't got to be cool. You don't got to be cool right away. You can kind of earn your stripes as you go. That's part of paying your dues. That's part of learning. And then you could walk,
Big facts, man. And we about to probably wrap it up because we got about 5 more minutes because I set the timer up a little bit off the scale a little bit, but we want to get it in though, man. But T-Max, go ahead.
I'm just saying, but when you think about it, it's just about evolution in terms of finding your energy, whether it's main character or supporting, but either way, you can still be a star no matter what it is. It's about projection. As King said, we're about to get off in a bit. This has been absolutely amazing, educational, and all types of academic and interesting and engaging. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This has been a great opportunity. I really appreciate it to be on the platform. Much respect to the way you guys conduct yourself. It has been very, very good, stimulating conversation as well, man. Respect. Much respect.
Man, you're welcome back anytime, man.
You care to tell the people where they can find your album?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm at Jus Daze, JUSDAZE at Jus Daze. You could go to jusdaze.com, IG, Facebook, X, whatever. All streaming platforms: Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, everything. These are for the DJs. And you could just hit me up, man. Like, listen, I'm a real humble guy. I'm a real dude, and I got a real life. So when I got time to get back to you, I'm gonna get back to you, type shit. But that being said, I'm a humble dude, man. Just hit me up. I'm not hard to reach. I appreciate, and I reciprocate the energy.
Most def, man. We definitely appreciate you taking the time, man. Be sure to check out everybody that's listening. Be sure to check out that EP. It's straight fire.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Much respect.
And you know you're welcome back anytime, man. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely. We're gonna do a part 2. Set it up in the new year, baby.
Yes,
sure.
yes. All
So
right.
yeah, on that note, we about to sign up out of here. We want to thank everybody once again for chiming in. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.